If you're considering a summer job, whether or not that's you or one of your children considering a job, the question always comes up, do I need to report this income? And then how do I pay taxes on that summer job? Well, do you need to report the income? Obviously, the answer to that is yes. Now, how you report that income, that's going to depend upon how you are treated. Most people who take summer jobs are employees. They just go ahead and they take a summer job. Maybe your son or daughter is going ahead and taking a landscaping job or something where they're going to go ahead and help a local landscaper throughout the summer. Most of the time, these landscapers will treat you as an employee. You'll fill out a W-4, you'll have your withholding, and then go ahead at the end of the year and you'll get a W-2. And then if that W-2, if that income is large enough, then you'll need to go ahead and report that. Or if you have withholding, then you need to go ahead and file a return so either you get the withholding back or not. Your tax situation becomes that of an employee. Now, it becomes very different if you take on one of these gig economy jobs, if you become a gig worker, like for example, an Uber driver and such. At that point in time, you are self-employed and you are responsible for your taxes. So even a small amount of income in there can actually generate some tax. Why? Because people who are gig workers are self-employed, which means they have to pay all of their taxes, including their employment taxes. What I'm talking about there is their Social Security and Medicare taxes for both the employer and employee portion. So 15.3% of their net income, they're actually going to pay in taxes. So they usually end up owing a tax bill. Matter of fact, one of the reasons why a lot of taxpayers are now owing when they file is because they're taking on a lot of gig economy workers. A lot of times this happens during the summer. So let's say you're taking an Uber job. So you'll need to go ahead and report the income from Uber, but you're also going to report your expenses and keep track of those expenses, like your mileage and any other things expenses you're going to have for your vehicle that you're using to go ahead and do Uber driving and such. At the end of the year, you're going to file a tax return and report that income and expenses and have to pay taxes on it. So it'll be a much different situation if you're treated as one of those gig economy workers that get a 1099 versus one that gets a W-2. So know your tax situation. Your tip here is, again, if you're going to be one of these gig economy workers, to make sure you track your expenses. If you're not an employee, those business expenses are in fact deductible. You just need to keep track of them to make your tax return easy to do at the end of the year.